Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is Tuesday, June 11th, and this is the nightly recap of what happened in the futures markets today. I will start this by saying that tomorrow is the CPI print and the Fed decision as well. So it's a very big week in terms of news. There was a lot of economic news last week as well. It's been very busy, and we've had some really great price action across many different futures products. So today, I'm going to go ahead and start with the NQ. And let's blow this up here a little bit. This is a 5-minute NASDAQ NQ chart right here. Actually, let's go ahead and start with the daily chart. I'm just going to share what I look at today with you, and let's start with the daily chart. Now, I did record and post a video last week after we made this all-time high right here, and I referenced another all-time high a few months back. That idea did actually pan out where we made a new all-time high, and then we had a little bit of a pullback the next 2 days, and now we're right back at all-time highs again. So what happened today? NASDAQ finished up the day over 100 points. We had a very nice day and some really relatively stable price action. So this is what it looks like on the daily, right? So by daily, this is the daily time frame. This is the Trade of 8 platform. This is the daily time frame. So what this candle shows us here is that this, as far as the price of the NASDAQ today, the NQ, we came all the way down to 18,996 and some change. This is where the NASDAQ opened. We opened at 1907 area, push down, and then we ended up making a nice push towards morning, afternoon. We just made a very nice push to the upside, and we closed near the high on the NASDAQ. For me, I look at a 5-minute chart quite often, and so let's go ahead and pull it up on the NASDAQ. This might look a little bit busy to some of you, but generally I keep these moving averages on my charts, and more recently I've had Bollinger Bands on my charts. Bollinger Bands, they give us an idea of the range to the upside and downside of price action for any given instrument. And so the Bollinger Bands here, this is this orange dashed line here and here that you see. So there's tons of strategies that can be executed with Bollinger Bands. What I do is I don't execute a specific strategy, but I do use the bands to get a sense of how far price and the movement of the market can go in any one direction. So it just gives me more of an idea and a sense of, how extended or in one direction or another that we are. That's what I use the Bollinger Bands for. I don't always have them on my charts, but more recently I have had them on my charts. The gold line is VWAP. The blue line down here is the 200 daily moving average, simple moving average. The line right here, this is the 50-day simple moving average. And then what I look at mostly is these dashed lines right here, this light blue line and this green line. If you've watched any of my previous reviews of the market, you will know that these are the blue line, the 8-day simple moving average, and the green line is the 21-day simple moving average. I like to use this strategy where when these moving averages cross, so the 8 crosses above or below the 21-day moving average, I consider taking a long or a short entry. And what happened today on the 5-minute? So at the open today, which is right around here, the NASDAQ had a small push up and then we went straight down. That's really nice action. If you look at where the bands or where the moving averages crossed over, it was right in this area here, right around 9:30. So after a push down in the morning at the open and then a huge green bar back to the upside, this is a nice signal to me that says, okay, this could be a reversal. And then we have closes a push above the VWAP, which is this gold line right here. Once once NASDAQ starts closing above the VWAP, then this is more confirmation to me that we're going to continue to the upside. And here's that crossover of the 8 moving average above the 21. Further confirmation that there's going to be movement to the upside. One thing I do want to point out here, yes, the moving average is crossed here on the NASDAQ around 930-ish. We had some nice momentum to the upside. But speaking of Bollinger Bands, on a 5-minute chart, here's the Bollinger Band. Look what happened here. On this pullback in the NASDAQ, this candle right here tapped the Bollinger Band, the lower band, and then we continued up and we never looked back. We never got back to this area. So just speaking of Bollinger Bands, this is one Bollinger Band strategy that can be implemented. When a candle gets near, touches, pokes through, and comes back up, a Bollinger Band, you can execute a trade. So if I were using the Bollinger Bands and I wanted to execute a trade when price came near, tapped, went through, and pushed back up the Bollinger Band, this is exactly where I would execute that trade. In what direction? To the upside. So I would go long. On this pullback, price hits the Bollinger Band, and then we continue to the upside. So just trying to give further clarification and an idea about how Bollinger Bands and an indicator like this can be used. So this was kind of back and forth. We ranged for quite some time heading into the afternoon, and then boom, right 12 o'clock, we just pushed right to the upside. And let me make this bigger for everybody. There's that cross of the SMA again. So the 8 crosses over the 21. We've got a big candle to the upside here. We're above VWAP. We're above the 50-day moving average as well. And we just continued up from there. One other thing to point out here is that in terms of the 8-day simple moving average, at least on a 5-minute chart, and for me, this is mostly what I look at, price, if it's trending and moving in one direction nicely, then it tends to hug this moving average just like it's doing right here. So you can see price is basically staying between around near the upper Bollinger Band, this orange dotted line, and the 8-day SMA. Okay, see how it's hugging? The price is right in between these two, just moving to the upside. So that's the NASDAQ. We ended up pretty close to the highs on the NASDAQ, and heading into the CPI print, huge news tomorrow, and the Fed rate decision. That's interesting to me that we finished at the highs on the NASDAQ. Okay, let's look at some other markets. I've been watching the YM quite closely as well for several different reasons. I really liked how YM opened up this morning and went straight down. I really liked that. And one reason is if we go to a higher time frame, let's say an hourly chart, the NASDAQ has been pretty much lagging compared to the S&P and the NASDAQ in terms of the indices. But it's been slowly making its way back to the upside. See the all-time highs on, this is the Dow, the YM, Dow futures. The highs are way back here in mid-May, right? May 20th, right around there, we made an all-time high. And we're all the way down here. So the other indices, S&Ps, the NASDAQ, they're at all-time highs. The Dow is down in this area with all-time highs back in May. So to me, that signals to me with the other indices being close or at all-time highs, close to all-time highs, you've got the YM, the Dow here, lagging a bit. It's still, it made a recent low down here, 38,112 at the end of May. But June, it's been making a comeback. So what I've been looking for is signs of upside momentum and buying pullbacks in the Dow. So if I'm buying pullbacks in the Dow, of course, I like this move right here where we opened, we come straight to the downside, and then heading into the 9 o'clock hour, we start making our move back up. In terms of the moving averages on here, the 8 and the 21-day moving averages, heading into this morning, it was range bound, right, heading into the open. And then right here, we have a drop. We have a huge candle to the downside. And then you see the separation of the 8 and the 21. So they're separating, getting further apart here. And so at this point, I'm looking for a reversal. I'm looking for pullbacks to buy in the YM because I'm anticipating that there's a room for the YM to move to the upside. So that's why I want to buy a pullback. And that is very high level. But it's kind of big picture idea for me personally, what I look for when more recently when I've been trading YM. So we got the pullback, we got a nice reversal. I went long here and caught a nice trade in the YM back to the upside. Now, using the moving averages, this is the 8-day, the blue dashed. When we have a drop and we start reversing here, when we have this candle that closes above this 8-day moving average, this is a great signal to continue to enter in a long position for me personally. I entered in a little bit sooner than of this candle, but this is a really nice signal. Even this candle right here, a few things could have happened here, right? We could have closed and then reversed, right? That would basically be the price of the YM kissing or moving slightly through the 8-day moving average and then a reversal. That did not happen. We closed above the moving average here and then we continued to the upside. So these are I'm just sharing some things that I look at and my analysis, things that I'm thinking price action is happening in real time when the markets are open. So we did move to the upside here, and notice this red line is the 50-day simple moving average on the 5-minute chart. Well, the YM moved straight up to that and it started hugging it and we were moving to the downside and we kind of went down and back up just like that. Some movement to the upside after the moving average is crossed, but part of this moving average strategy, the 8 and the 21-day, is the close above the 8 when price reverses direction. You enter a trade somewhere within this area. If you did that, then you would catch this movement to the upside. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about the exact execution and how to enter and exit trades, but again, I'm just sharing some things that I look at. So the YM finished the day, I believe, down 100 or so points, but at one point during the day, the YM was down. I believe we were down close to or over 300 points. So interesting day on the YM, drop in the morning, and then we move to the upside throughout the day. Let's go ahead and look at S&Ps. These have been, so this is S&P 500, the ES futures, similar to the NASDAQ and the YM, where we drop in the morning, then we had a nice move to the upside. The ES, shout out to ES, S&Ps. Price action has been excellent. So if you've been trading the ES and making some money on it, good for you. This price action is really, really great. What do I mean by that? Well, look at the ranges of these of the movement, right? So huge down move that you can take advantage of, right? So enter in a short somewhere in this area, ride that move down. This is a reversal type pattern where we go down, we flatline, and then huge green candle to the upside. To me, this signals a potential reversal, and that is what happened. But look at how long we moved to the upside and how many points really is what I mean, right? So from 53.41, by the way, I'm looking at the price over here on the right side. So let's say from 53.40, if you entered a trade somewhere in this area, and even if you ride it up to VWAP, right? 53.40 to 53.40 to 53.50, that's 10 points in the ES. That's a nice little trade right there, example. But great price action in ES. We finished the day significantly higher, especially if you got in on this pullback here and the S&Ps took it to the upside. So great action on the S&Ps. Other markets I've been looking at are gold. Let me hide my drawings here. This is a daily chart on gold. What do I see? I see a massive drop. I believe this was last Friday. Huge drop of like 70 or 80 points, something like that. And to me, this is a really, really nice pullback in gold when the indices are at all-time highs. Well, gold was recently made an all-time high, and then it's been kind of moving to the downside here. So a few questions that I ask myself here is, are we going to have a similar move in gold as we did back here, where we made an all-time high and then drop, slowly move up, drop, another move up, and then a whoosh, another leg down, big leg down? This price action looks similar. If we look right here, see these two candles? Well, this looks similar to these two candles after this big drop. These are just kind of high level, big picture ideas and things that I think about while I'm trading. Big picture, big time frame view. But if we drop down into our 5-minute chart, gold had some really, really great price action today as well. Heading into the morning, gold opens around this time. Actually, before the U.S. stock market opens, the gold market opens. And so when gold opened, we pushed directly to the upside and had a really nice move to the upside. See how heading into the open, there's the gold is basically range bound, and then boom, and when you see the separation of these moving averages, this is really great confirmation too, along with just the price action that a nice trend is happening here. Push to the downside when the stock market opened, and then what I see here is I see the small push below VWAP on gold, the gold line. We barely move below VWAP and then push back to the upside. So this is a nice move, right? You can place a trade off of this. Move to the upside, pull back, kiss VWAP, back to the upside. So the move is long here in gold, execute a long trade, and then ride gold up and exit somewhere up here, hopefully. A really good pullback as well. I was actually sitting in drawdown for quite some time because I entered a long position somewhere in this area today in gold, and I held because I had stops down here. I held and basically broke even on my gold trade eventually, but I had to sit through a pretty big pullback. If you look at this, what do we see in terms of the moving averages? 8 crossing over the 21 right here, take gold to the downside. Reversal right here, and here's the crossover again, 8 crossing back above the 21 moving average, and then we take it to the upside for the remainder of the afternoon. So really nice price action in gold there. Crude oil, great day for crude oil too. Just by great day, I mean as a futures trader, the price action was really, really great. Using the moving averages, what happened in crude? Sideways, little up movement towards kind of at the open, back down, and then we have this level right around here. Let me draw it out for everybody. Here's a level, an area, right? So see, crude drops into this area, back to the upside, drops in, back up, back into this area. Also takes out these lows here with this candle. So see these lows right here. This candle took out these lows. So woof, takes it out by woof. I mean, we drop below this area, like this low right here. This candle took out that low, and then we push to the upside again. And thing again, what I kind of visualize here and what I see in real time is I see if I put let's put a line right here, just right in this area, right? Right here. Can you see how price is just kind of almost touches it here, goes right below, moves back here, goes below here, but then closes above this line, taps this line again. So this is something to look for in my trading, at least personally. I see a flat line here. The market is flatlined. We're not really pushing significantly through and under this line right here. When I see that, and then I see good price action to the upside again, and I see the 8 simple moving average crossing above the 21 moving average, well, this is a signal to me to take a trade long. Go long crude right here. Even if you take a trade right here, so you have the, if I were to draw this line and then I see price touch this line here and move to the upside, and I see this cross with this candle right here, and I go long, even if I take it to VWAP and wait for this 5-minute candle to close, it's a nice little trade. If I stay in the position longer, look at this move in crude here. And what helped signal this great move in crude? Sorry about that. Where are we? What helped to signal this great move to the upside in crude? This crossover. The 8 crosses over the 21 moving average right here. Boom. It goes to the upside. That is crude. And I think I'm going to end the nightly review right there. So thank you everybody for watching. I would love to hear your comments and thoughts about this video. And if you want me to cover anything else, please let me know. Thanks so much.